AMG and Mitsubishi are two extremely well-known names within the automotive industry. Both have repeatedly impressed the community and delivered legendary cars. AMG has created some of the most brutally powerful and monstrous cars ever, while Mitsubishi has given us some of the greatest rally cars ever and created one of the best four-cylinder engines of all time, the 4G63. Did you know that these two titans have crossed paths not once, but twice? Once to create the great AMG Debonair, and a second time to create the AMG Galant, the latter of which is the focus of this article. And if we're being honest, a lot of people would agree that the AMG Debonair is not as great as the AMG Galant. Now, Mitsubishi and the Galant. So Mitsubishi originated in 1870 as a shipping company, founded by Iwasaki Yataro. In the years following its creation, Mitsubishi diversified itself by operating in several different industries, including coal mining, shipbuilding, iron milling, marine insurance, aircraft manufacturing, and more. It wasn't until 1917 that Mitsubishi would enter the automotive scene, and when they did, they gave Japan its first production automobile, the Mitsubishi Model A. The Model A came with a whopping 35 horsepower and could reach a top speed of 97 kilometers an hour, eventually. It was based on the Fiat Tipo 3 and only 22 were produced before it was just discontinued. In the 1990s, we saw Mitsubishi produce many more models, with some of the most popular being the Lancer, the Galant, the Pajero, and the Debonair. For the purposes of this discussion, we're going to pay special attention to the Galant. The Galant debuted in 1969 and was produced until 2012, iterating through 9 different generations. It was a mid-size sedan primarily competing with cars like the Honda Accord and Toyota Camry. The 6th generation, known as the E30, was produced from 1987 to 1992, and it's quite special. For starters, it was the first production car in the world to have semi-active electronically controlled suspension, which was added to the 1987 model. The 1987 model year was also awarded Car of the Year Japan, and the 1989 model year was named Motor Trend's Import Car of the Year. This generation had several different trim levels that varied in name from region to region, so to avoid giving all of us a headache, I won't dive into that. Instead, I'll summarize the different offerings. Both configurations came with a naturally aspirated 4G63 or some variation of that motor. There was the 4G32, 4G37, 4D65T, 4G67, and so on. This engine was mated either to a 4-speed automatic or 5-speed manual transmission. The exception here is the Galant VR4, which was a performance model inspired by Mitsubishi's Rally division. This model added a turbo to the 4G63, 4-wheel drive, 4-wheel steering, and a ton of other performance goodies. The VR4's platform was later adopted to become the Lancer Evolution, which is why the VR4 is often referred to as the Pre-Evo or Evo Zero. Oh, and one more thing I forgot to mention. The 6th generation Galant is the one that AMG worked on to create the AMG Galant. AMG was created in 1967 by 2 former Mercedes-Benz engineers. This is the second video that I'm saying these guys' names in, and I still haven't learned how to say them, so bear with me. The first engineer was Hans Werner Aufrecht, and the second was Erhard Melcher. AMG began as a racing engine manufacturing company, and over time, they slowly evolved into a tuner company. Contrary to popular belief, AMG was not always partnered with Mercedes. It wasn't until 1999 that Mercedes-Benz would purchase a majority share of AMG, and not until 2005 that Mercedes would wholly own AMG. So between 1967 and 1999, AMG was free to collaborate with any company they chose, and over the years, they did have some interesting collaborations. For example, they worked with Honda to create the AMG Blade/Civic. You can check out my video or TikTok about it, linked up here in the top right. In the next section, we'll dive into another one of AMG's interesting collaborations, this one with Mitsubishi. In the late 1980s, Mitsubishi began to take performance engineering seriously. They had previous success in rally racing and wanted to rebrand themselves from a producer of economy cars to a performance car manufacturer. This change would better allow them to compete with Nissan, Toyota, and Mazda, who had by this time already produced the legendary Skyline, Supra, and RX-7 respectively. One of the first steps Mitsubishi took in this direction was the creation of their performance sub-brand, Rally Art. While this was a good start, Mitsubishi wanted to create a serious performance car immediately, but the young Rally Art wasn't ready for that yet. So Mitsubishi decided to call in someone who was ready. Enter AMG. Some may be wondering why Mitsubishi would want a serious performance car built so badly, even though they already had the Galant VR4. The answer to that is that the VR4 was rally inspired, whereas Mitsubishi wanted a pure performance car, something that can compete with the Skyline Supra and RX-7. This formed another unique partnership in the automotive industry between Mitsubishi and AMG. Together, they worked to produce the Galant AMG. This was an AMG modified version of the Galant GTI 16V, and AMG did quite a lot to this car. There were two versions of the AMG Galant produced, Type 1 and Type 2. Type 1 was more performance focused, while Type 2 was more luxury focused. Let's start off by just looking at changes that AMG made to the base Galant that are common to both of these versions. AMG added a ton of performance extras to the naturally aspirated 4G63 motor that was present in the Galant GTI 16V. I'm going to talk more about why they didn't go for the turbo later. AMG added new pistons which raised the compression ratio from 9 to 1 to 10 to 4 to 1, piston oil jets, camshafts, titanium valve springs, rocker arms, exhaust manifold, exhaust system, a cyclone intake manifold, and an ECU. All of these were new. AMG bumped the redline up to 8,000 RPM, which I think is 500 above stock, and when you couple this with the changes mentioned above, AMG squeezed 168 horsepower out of the naturally aspirated 4G63. This was a 27 horsepower increase over stock. AMG also managed to deliver this through a much nicer power curve as well. This is a very impressive feat for two main reasons. Firstly, this was achieved out of a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder in the late 80s. And they did this without using any forced induction. By this point, you're probably wondering why they didn't just take the turbo 4G63 from the Galant VR4, because that car was already released by the time the AMG Galant came out. The main reasons for this are that turbo lag was still a big problem back then, and performance-focused cars needed to have a very fast throttle response, and AMG had very little experience working with turbo motors at the time. Both versions got a plethora of AMG badges added to their exteriors, an AMG body kit, 15-inch monoblock wheels, a two-tone paint job, an AMG wooden steering wheel, and AMG design seats. Now we can dive into the different options that each one of these cars got. The Type 1, being more performance focused, got a 5-speed manual, sportier suspension, cloth seats, slightly larger wraparound spoiler, and was 30 kilos lighter and had a lower production number. Type 2, being more luxury-based, got a 4-speed automatic, softer suspension, leather seats, and was 30 kilos heavier and had higher production numbers. The AMG Galant was in production for 5 years and a total of 1,395 units were produced, spanning both versions. Every single one of the production units were made and sold in Japan, which means they were all right-hand drive. Some people wanted to drive them in other countries, so what they actually did was they swapped the AMG modified parts into the Galant GTI 16V so they could have a left-hand drive version of the AMG Galant. Kyle Leonis made a video on one of these swaps that was done on a Galant in Manila, since it's illegal to drive a right-hand car there. This is easily one of the most unique automotive collaborations I've had the pleasure of learning about. We have a Japanese brand that specializes in rally racing, collaborating with a German-born tuner company that specializes in making racing engines. Perhaps I think the most surprising part is that AMG opted to not work with the turbo 4G63 from the Galant VR4. I've already said why they made this choice. I think the surprising part is how far turbo technology has come, and now nearly all of AMG's engines are turbocharged. Nonetheless, the fact remains that this is one of the coolest automotive collaborations ever. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end of this video. If you liked what you saw, I'm going to have some more videos right here on the screen for you. Also, if you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate that. And check out my blog, www.sharksauto.com. Everything on there is free. You can see all of my articles, and every one of my YouTube videos is based on an article, and the articles go up first. So if you want early access, check out the blog, and I will see you guys next time.